Paying off of them now because they're not relying on the super strong picks like NA has. So a lot of the people that have been watching like EU form and see what picks are doing from month to month, I mean they might have a slight advantage going into these games just because they know what heroes are good, even though the stronger ones are taken out or they're not being used at all. They know
Right.
those combinations that work really well together.
Right.
So, but we're just
Like
waiting for the teams to mark out the maps here and all that good stuff. So,
looking at the map striking, we are seeing that T-Rekts, Tyrannosaurus Rex, they have stricken out Blackheart's Bay, Cursed Hollow, Guard of Terror, and Haunted Mines. So it's come down to Sky Temple, Tomb of the Spider Queen, or Dragonshire. So kind of the three more comfort picks for a lot of teams. And I think it really depends on if a map that caters to hyper. Do they want to play on a map that caters to hyper aggression? And the two that come to mind are obviously your Sky Temple and the Tomb of the Spider Queen. But as I say that, Sky Temple gets banned out, so it's now going to be between Tomb of the Spider Queen and Dragonshire.
yeah, I'm expecting a Dragonshire Tomb of the Spider Queen pretty easily. Like, if you were to put all the maps back on there and be like, hey, they're either going to go Dragonshire or Tomb of the Spider Queen because they're really, really fast, aggressive maps, especially in the best of one. If you feel you have a strong team composition that you want to go in there with, it's easy to win that fight. Easy to win drafts, easy to win team fights, especially if you've been practicing and if you're going for that first pick. You get 3 picks before the other team gets your 3rd pick. There's a ban right in the middle, so...
So there it is. The Tomb of the Spider Queen is going to be taken away, and it's going to be the good old Dragonshire, the symmetrical lanes. Well, it seems to be everyone's comfort pickup and my personal favorite map. So we're into the draft now here, and it looks like that Brown Horsin is going to get the first ban and the first pick as well. And we're going to see what they go with. Are we going to see the usual banning out of a Zeratul, of the melee assassins? Man, they really have kind of dictated the draft in North America. The two that come to mind, obviously, are Zeratul and Illidan. Kerrigan as well, to a point, depending on the map. I think this is Tomb of the Kerrigan, but no, Brown Horse in it. They don't want to do it with the Kerrigan. They'd rather play against a Zeratul or an Illidan.
Honestly, I'm scared to death of seeing Kael'thas in any matchup right now. He's so strong still.
Dude.
Like, with his... I can't remember the name of it. I'm blanking here. The talent that increases ability power.
Ignite?
No, not that one.
Spheres.
I'm not sure.
Gathering Power.
Yeah, Gathering Power. There we go. For
Oh,
some reason,
nailed
it
it.
just exited my brain there for a second. But we see a Sylvanas ban for T-Rex and then a Zeratul pickup. Zeratul has been so good, and he's been coming to the forefront in any competitive pick because he's just so strong. Void Prison's always been strong. You've been around for a while, so you know Zeratul has always been really strong with that Void Prison ability.
He, in different iterations, different builds. The new build, I dare to even call it new anymore because so many people have been utilizing it, is the level 1. Level 1 is kind of a wash. It's personal preference. Some people go Region Master. Some people go, the decreased cooldown on block. Some people go Seasoned Marksman. Just personal preference. We'll see what they go with here. And then you get the focus attacks at level 4. You get follow through at level 7. And then from there, a more traditional build with Void Prison, Wormhole, etc., etc. T-Rex going to get themselves an Uther. So they're going to get the man with the shield, and let's see what they pick up for their second.
You could see them pick up Illidan pretty easily, but Jaina is going to be one of those pickups that they're going to go for right away. I'm expecting to probably see a Kael'thas pick up here because they don't want him to get banned. Again, he's one of those really strong heroes.
Right on. Okay, so I just been informed, the voice in my ear, that the map pick was a misclick. The map is actually Tomb of the Spider Queen. Okay, that makes a little more sense now. Now I understand why the Kerrigan was banned out. That makes a little bit more sense now.
It really does.
So, yes, at first I was kind of like, huh? On this map? I even said, like, if this was Tomb of the Spider Queen or Haunted Mines, it'd be all about it. But it is Tomb of the Spider Queen. Sorry about that, guys. So that Kerrigan ban makes a little bit more sense now. Like I said earlier, Tomb of the Spider Queen is a very small map. The lanes are very close together and really caters to early game hyper aggression.
It really does. You gotta be extremely, extremely careful. Like going around those corners, there's a lot of steam vents. We're more than likely gonna see a Zagara pick up at some point. I mean, she's just really strong with those creep tumors, giving them the vision. And again, like I just said, Zagara picked up right as I said that. That vision is just so key in this map. It's really difficult to make sure the turn-ins are able to be taken care of because they're going to be rotating consistently to make sure you're not being able to turn in.
So with the Zagara, they got themselves a good backliner. They got good push. They got good vision. And there's a Kael'thas. So that's a strong backline that Brown Horsin it has. And right now they need a warrior and they need a support. So, I mean, T-Rex can ban out either one of those. They know that's what they're going to have to pick up there. So do they want to get rid of that, the Brightwing? Do they want to get rid of the Rhaegar, or are they more concerned about maybe an Anubarak or a Muradin follow-up?
To be honest, if I were T-Rex right now, I'd ban out a Nubarak, block them from getting that initiation that they're probably going to need, and have a semi-strong frontliner. They're going to ban out someone else, and then T-Rex is going to try to go for that Muradin. But at that point, it's going to be really difficult. If they are able to pick up that Muradin on T-Rex, it's going to be really difficult for Brown Horsin to deal with it. But they ban out Brightwing instead, so they're trying to lock out that mobility and that support.
I like that Brightwing pick banned very well, and the Tassadar being banned out from Brown Horse. I think that there's multiple layers for that ban, and the reason I like it is because obviously they have a Zeratul. Tassadar is able to use his combat trait Oracle to spot out the Zeratul and make his life a living hell. But also, as you mentioned earlier in the draft, this potentially could be a Illidan lineup coming up here, and Tassadar really complements that well with an Uther. You have an Uther with Divine Shield, Holy Light, Big Burst healing, the damage mitigation from Tassadar, the supplemental backline with the Archon and whatnot. It's such a great combination with an Illidan, and they don't want to deal with that either. So it helps out their Zeratul. It denies the strength. It denies giving them even more strength to a potential Illidan lineup. So I really like that ban on Tassadar.
It's really like that Tassadar ban is so important. It's like you were saying, just with that Zeratul pick, they don't want to be able to like Zeratul to be seen at any point during the game. It's really important that he's able to get those ganks off, get away relatively easily. That constant worry of a good Tassadar just popping that Oracle whenever he's around, getting caught out, ruining their entire plan. Like, okay, great, now I can't avoid prison because it's completely screwed up. Got to back out, got to reformulate our plan, and maybe not even, it might force them out of an engagement that they were going to win. It's just so powerful, that Oracle ability. As far as T-Rex goes, like we could see that Illidan pickup. They could go with Avala. Avala fills out any role, really, as far as damage goes. She's a great range assassin. But they're probably going to want to pick up a warrior here to make sure that they get their prime warrior pick for their composition. Yeah. So
the big two are Muradin and Anubarak, with Johanna just behind that. Some teams actually preferring Johanna over the two aforementioned heroes. But those are the kind of the big three then, is Johanna, Muradin, and Anubarak are the ones we see all the time. Right behind that is Tyrael. Like I said, he's starting to make a little bit of a comeback in the scene. And generally when you see a Tyrael, you see like a double bruiser lineup, like a Anubarak Tyrael or something along those lines, which is, there's the potential there. They have the Uther. They have two very strong backliners in Vala and Jaina. And if they want to make that Kael'thas's life a living hell, strong frontline initiation, like a Tyrael and a Anubarak followed up, would be really, really good. I think if that's something they want to execute, it definitely would be strong on this map. And again, cater to that kind of early game, mid game aggression that we know on this map.
Definitely. And like locking down like anyone like a Zeratul, like say Zeratul pops out, you get that initiation from Tyrael, it's going to be really difficult. And we see Johanna pick up. I love this warrior so much. First day she came out, like I found the build, found like the sweet spot, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go in here and learn this character. I need to be able to like know her abilities and everything. I love Condemn so much. It's such an awesome ability.
It's awesome is one word you can use. No, I agree. Johanna's, I love it. It's a great addition to the pool. Sorely needed. I think the warrior pool was a little bit stale, if you asked me. So Johanna is really, really good at dealing with frontline melee sort of people. Mainly, I think an Illidan comes to mind. Zeratul, to a point, obviously once he gets level 13, though, he can blink in and out, and it can be a little bit harder to land those condemns and the stuns and whatnot. But her Blessed Shield, man, that is such a strong initiation tool. That is an amazing heroic. It's a 60 or 70 second cooldown, stuns two people. It's got a big range. It's an amazing, amazing ability, and it's so frustrating to deal with as any melee assassin.
It really is, and so with the changes that happened to Muradin, with them adding that reverberating talent on the level 1, decreasing the 20% by 20% the attack speed on any like a person that's attacking. Yeah. It's going to be really, really difficult if he hops on top of Vala, no matter what. Yeah. I mean, her W does quite a bit of damage, but if he still, her auto attacks are very, very crucial in dealing out the DPS that she needs to deal out. And if you have a Muradin on top of her the whole time, it makes it really, really hard to deal with. And we see a Muradin pickup, or Malfurion. Supposed to start with Sam's, man. Malfurion has been seeing a lot more play since the double
He
bans
has.
has come into effect. I mean, primarily because you saw Brightwing get locked out and Tassadar, both really solid supports. Tassadar being more of a hybrid support damage, but still, more of the supports are being banned out, and there's it's not the biggest pool. There's only a couple other supports they can go with. I mean, Rhaegar is one of the other ones that is probably one of the ones that you can think of. But that's about it. I mean, it's limited to a smaller number of heroes.
I really like this Malfurion pickup quite a bit. I think he's going to fit into Brown Horse's lineup much better than a Rhaegar would have. Just because, look at the draft as a whole. They have so much zone control. Between the Kael'thas, Phoenix, Gravity Lass, Zagara with Maw, Malfurion with Roots, Murden with his stuns, and Thunderclap, Zeratul just always being a threat on the map. They have so much zone control and roots and stuns and snares. They really are going to play a control game, maybe a little bit of a poke and soak. Though their early game, they actually have a pretty decent roaming combo in the Murden and Zeratul if that's what they want to do. I think generally on the Tomb of the Spider Queen, you almost have to go with some sort of roaming combination, or you're simply just going to get you're going to get, I don't want to say outplayed, but outmaneuvered if you don't have strong roamers. And I would like to see the Murden and Zeratul kind of be the mobile ones. Zagara, maybe in a static lane. Malfurion kind of floating where he's needed. Kael'thas can kind of be a roamer, but he doesn't really cater to that very well because his combo is just kind of a one-and-done type of deal. But T-Rekts, wow, they're getting an Azebo, a hero that really has fallen off the meta. We haven't seen much of, though I guess he's a big pusher. So that's kind of what T-Rekts wants to go with here.
Definitely. And like with Gargantuan, I mean, with the changes that were made to Gargantuan, it's just so devastating, especially when you're not ready for it.
Yes.
he pops a Gargantuan in the middle of a team fight, comes in and slams. It does a ton of damage, man. Like I've been in fights and in game, and it just wipes out my entire team. I'm like, just where did all this damage come from? And it's Nazebo, because he's just really he's a high damage specialist, and you have to be really careful about where you're positioned going against Nazebo. But we're more than likely going to see Nazebo and Zagara battling it out down the bottom lane. So, I mean, Joanna has a lot of zone control too. People don't want to get too close to her because they have to worry about the initiation, which happens really frequently. But like you were saying, Brown Horsin has an amazing amount of zone control. Like, it's going to be really difficult for T-Rekts to be able to fight against that. And they can't really like go and be like, hey, let's try and initiate here. They'll either have a VP going down or Kael'thas zoning out with this Phoenix. It's going to be really hard for them to come in and take control of those team fights later on in the game.
Looking at T-Rekts as far as the potential of having a lot of maneuverability in their lanes and being a threat in the lanes in the early game, I really don't feel it. I mean, Murden is great at roaming. Zeratul's great at roaming. That's what he does. You don't put a Zeratul to lane. You don't get a Zeratul to lane. You get a Zeratul to hit level 4, get focus attacks, hit level 7, and start ganking people with that Murden. But on the other side of the coin of T-Rekts, I really don't see it. Nazebo's a very static laner. Jaina can be part of a ganking composition, but only with specific heroes. A hero I don't see in their lineup. Again, Vala is a very static laner. Uther can be a roaming combination, but generally, again, he needs a little bit more follow-up, something they don't have. So I think T-Rekts, they might suffer a little bit in the early game because the map is Tomb of the Spider Queen. This map is known for moving in and out of lanes, pushing one, going back and forth. And they just don't quite have enough zone control that Johanna can maybe do a little bit of work, but I don't think she's going to be able to keep up with the drafter Brown Horsin. But with that being said, I think their mid game is going to be really strong. Once they hit level 10, they really come online. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage. Yeah,
it's going to be really interesting to see what these teams pull out, especially in the late game. I mean, I really love Tomb of the Spider Queen because it's such a different map from what Blizzard has made in the past, to where the aggression is like, they are wanting people to be more aggressive in this map than any other map that's out there right now.
Yes.
So, and as I say that, we're getting loaded into the game here.
There we go.
So, Tomb of the Spider Queen, T-Rekts versus Brown Horsin. I like both team compositions, but we'll see how they play it out, man.
Yeah. That Johanna, though, I mean, she might have some free range. She has a cleanse behind her, potentially Divine Shield, Protective Shield, so she's going to be really hard to take down. Jaina has, I think she's going to be pretty well protected.
Definitely.
I mean, again, it's not like super hard initiation, like a Tyrael or an Anubrak. And Anubrak was actually completely ignored here, which is something we don't see that often.
You really don't. And so, like, we're going to start off by, like, just introducing the teams a little bit. We got Brown Horsin over here on the left side, the blue team. Got Hoon on Zagara, Wilted on that Malfurion. Zeratul is going to be played by All-Stars. Crits something or other will be playing that Kael'thas there, and we got Murden playing by Escher, I guess. And then who we have over here on the red side, man?
We have KKX playing Jaina Jumping Duck on the Uther. Johanna being played by Schnazzy. Witch Doctor being played by Insomnia. And that guy right there playing Vala.
That guy, man. These names. I don't understand half these names, man. Not even gonna try.
That looks like something Jabba the Hutt would say. That guy's name. I don't know. The lanes are taking shape here, and as expected, Zeratul is kind of floating with Malfurion and whatnot. And in the bottom lane is going to be Witch Doctor Uther. That's a strong lane duo, and that Witch Doctor's going to have a good time pushing out that lane. Murden's not going to be able to do much about it.
Yeah, Witch Doctor is a super, super powerful lane pusher. If you guys haven't tuned into any Heroes content before, he's one of those you got to be extremely careful with. He can't push out too far because he's really susceptible to damage. He's got a really small health pool, and we see that as he gets taken out by All-Stars and Kael'thas.
So there it is, the Murden and the Zeratul complemented by the Kael'thas Grapulap. Skips the first blood on Witch Doctor, and Uther was quick to rotate. I'm sorry, not Uther. The Johanna was quick to rotate in the bottom lane, so they aren't going to lose any soak in that bottom lane. A very small experience to Shepardski going their way, nothing that's insurmountable. Generally in the early game, the only time early ganks get out of hand is if there are multiple ganks and you lose a lot of soak in a lane.
And we do see a slight initiation up here on the top here. All-Stars doing it again to do a little bit of poke damage onto the Vala. Not going to do too much damage. She has to go back and actually tap that well, so that her well is going to be down for a little bit. So we'll have to see if they try for any initiations up top here anytime soon.
Initiating onto a Jaina can be a little sketchy sometimes, and Zagara getting caught out of position.
And then Johanna getting caught out too.
Too hard. And down in bottom, so a 1-for-1 trade. These guys are exchanging blows real quick. Something we expect on this map. Murden's really, really low. Though he's going to be able to tank up, hit the fountains. Now he's just going to hearth and heal up here. Looking at the gem count so far, nothing too big. Both teams just kind of sitting back. No one's turned in quite yet. They're just farming it up and just kind of trying to just soak that early game experience. Zeratul has been doing a good job at roaming, being a threat on the map. I really like Zeratul on this map because even if he doesn't get any kills, just the threat of his presence can really put fear into the enemies that can, you know, force them to make some bad decisions.
It really is. I mean, you see, like, you can see him down bottom lane, and then a couple seconds later, he's up at top lane, ganking you and taking you out. It's really, really difficult to deal with the size of this map, and the fact that he has Blink on top of it. His mobility is on point.
So level 4 is here for both teams. Looks like some fairly standard stuff across the board, though Johanna, not Vala, going with Vampiric Assault level 4, something we don't see that often. With the multi-shot talent at level 1, so maybe a little bit a hybrid build coming out here, not entirely sure, but we're going to see how that progresses into the game. Otherwise, pretty standard stuff. Murden going with the Stormbolt build here.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little bit of sustain going, especially against Zagara this early on. She's going to have some health because she's going to be having that poke damage from those Hydralisks pretty consistently. So, I mean, you got to look out for that. You do see the Zeratul going the typical build. He's got block and he's got focus attacks. So we're going to see that high damage once he hits that level 7. He's probably going to go that follow through and going to do insane amounts of damage really early on.
If he thinks if he's afraid of getting counter initiated on, he can go with first aid. It's still kind of a defensive backup. Oh, down in the top turn-in. Kael'thas gets caught out of position. Kael'thas is a hero that you have to be on point with your position or else it can get punished very, very easily. That's exactly what happened. So another kill getting on the board there. And the experience is still dead even.
Yeah, you gotta be really, really careful, especially with the Nazebo put that zombie wall in the perfect place. Kael'thas just couldn't get by it, and he actually got taken out by the Johanna coming in. Sealing deal with my favorite ability, going in with her Condemn, sucking him in like a vortex.
Yeah. Another thing to mention, Kael'thas didn't go Gathering Power. I accidentally overlooked that. He actually went with the Netherwind, so it increases his Gravity Blast range and speed. So he isn't going to be quite that late game strength, the late game force that we know Kael'thas to be, but nonetheless, he is going to be coming online a little bit longer with that talent at level 4. It's going to help him gank a little bit more effectively.
It really does. I play with that talent a lot. I was tweaking with the E's, trying to find out which one was the best way to go. And that ability, man, it helps out a lot because people don't expect it to come out that fast, especially because it's initially pretty slow. And we do see them trying to
on the board here, and Zeratul with that follow through, like you mentioned. We're seeing a Syrian attacks coming out of Vala, so a little bit of a hybrid build. It looked like the multi-shot talent at level 1 followed up by some right-click talents. And standard stuff across the board here.
Definitely, and we do see them trying to like combat the turn-in point up here in the top. And Zagara isn't spreading the creep out as much as I thought she might, but they do have those sentries in position by Malfurion to zone out any potential turn-ins for T-Rekts.
Yeah. That's a good point. I actually didn't take that into consideration here. Zeratul, once again, being a threat, just harassing this Uther. Zagara, how are the lanes looking right now? Looks like both the towers are healthy in the top lane. Mid lane, it's a little bit of damage. Nothing too concerning, though. And so, yeah, neither team has really got a big advantage on the pushing front yet. When you see a Witch Doctor and a Zagara, you expect to see something along the lines of getting some early game towers. Down in the mid lane, Witch Doctor gets caught out of position.
Insomnia taking quite a bit of damage here. He's going to have to back out. I mean, Zagara comes in, puts a Hydralisk on him. He's going to back out. He's going to take too much damage there and might go down if he's not too careful. But neither team has really had too many takedowns. It looks like 2 apiece. That's at 6 additional gems. So it's really, really important that you keep track of how many deaths you have and how many deaths the other team has to make sure that you don't overextend and let them turn in gems like they just did. And we just had a turn-in from the red team because they weren't paying attention down on the bottom lane.
So with that, we're going to see the good old turn in, fall back to your bruisers, apply even more pressure into that mid lane. And what's the choice that's going to be made here for T-Rekts? Are they going to 5-man push down a lane? Are they going to split, soak, and try to get maybe some towers? And it looks like they're going to put a lot of pressure into this top lane here. Of course, the top lane can be a big priority the later we get into the match because of that boss. That's the lane the boss goes in. And this maps generally are dictated, the early game lane configuration are dictated by mercenary camps a lot of the time. That's the exact same situation we're seeing here. So I like the decision to put more pressure in the top lanes. It might open them up with a strong avenue to get an early game keep.
It really does. And with that boss pushing in, we actually have Murd or Zeratul taking quite a bit of damage. Has to use his blink to get out of there. Johanna taking quite a bit of damage as well from Kael'thas coming up the side, but they're just poking at this point. They're just doing as much damage they can do to the structures on the side and backing out. They know that they don't want to engage quite yet. They want to wait for that level 10 because Brown Horsin is just about to hit that level 10 a little bit before it looks like T-Rekts will, but we'll have to see what happens in regards to the experience here.
Yeah, both these teams dead even, so good job on the side of Brown Horsin by... They took some structure damage, they lost some experience, but they are ahead nonetheless. So a little bit more effective soak, and the early game threat showing its presence right there. Though a very small window of opportunity indeed, as now T-Rekts also has their heroics as well. Coming into play here, there's the Gargantuan, as you called it there, D. And Uther going with Divine Shield, Vala a little indecisive, and Jaina going with the Water Elemental.
Yes, sir. And it looks like they're going to grab those Siege Giants on the bottom while those Web Weavers are spawning. It's probably a good idea that they do that because it eliminates the possibility of Brown Horsin able to get those Giants while they're pushing with these Web Weavers. Yeah. But it looks like they're all going to be going to that mid lane and putting some pressure on those middle towers.
One thing that I forgot to mention about the lineup on the side of Brown Horsin is they have a lot of big team fight displacement. They have the Devouring Maw and the Void Sphere, though Jaina unfortunately gets caught out of position. Again, just like Kael'thas, a hero where your position has to be immaculate or it can be punished so easily. That's exactly what happened. Gets caught out. So now they have a little bit of a power play on their hands, Brown Horsin does. And not only do they have a power play, the lanes are pushing in with the Web Weavers. They're in a great spot right now. They
also have all their heroics still up. Every single heroic on the side of Brown Horsin is still up. They have 2 down for the side of T-Rekts. So, I mean, and they're down 1 person. Well, now Jaina's back up, but her Water Elemental's still down. So they're just going to push this top lane, and they're going to get a free forward out of it.
There's a Void Sphere on it too, and there's the Devouring Maw. Devouring Maw doesn't hit anyone, but at least it's being a little bit of zone control. Johanna is caught in the position. There's the Divine Shield. Strafe doing a lot of work. The Tranquility comes out, and that is going to be able to keep everyone alive. Everyone is so low on the side of Brown Horsin, though. The hallmark of a good team is not overcommitting, and T-Rekts is not going to overcommit. Sometimes when you see those low health bars, you are just going to go ham in there and try to get a kill, and most of the time, you can get turned around on in that sort of environment. But they didn't do that. They were patient. That actually was a bad team fight for them. They got initiated on. No one goes down. The top 4 does go down.
And that's exactly the thing about this game is that you just push your advantage. It doesn't matter how slight it is. If you can take out 1 person, that's a win on your team. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can back out and be satisfied with that 1 takedown. Snazzy coming in here trying to take down the Zagara and trying to get him out of place so that they can take him out, but it's not going to be too easy for them to do that considering Zagara is really, really fast on that creep.
Scouting drone, another thing to take in consideration. One of the reasons Malfurion is being picked up is because he has that scouting drone utility. A 2-man route. So I don't know if there's going to be any follow-up there. Followed by a stun on Johanna. Johanna's not the hero you really want to focus down unless she's completely caught out of position. So you could tell that they didn't want to go in on that. They originally, they thought about going on that Vala, but she was quick on the trigger to vault away, get herself to safety. Just a lot of posturing here at the top turn-in.
They're playing really, really smartly because Snazzy is in the front line. He can't really be stunned. He's got the unstoppable from the passive of Johanna. And it's just really, really, really smart that they're having Johanna go in there and pressure them a little bit. Make sure that they can't get that turn and make sure they can't get those web weavers pushing again. But we do see
3 more gems.
Kael'Thas down here at the bottom, man. Kael'Thas got that turn in.
Yeah, Kael'Thas was able to get some, an act of subterfuge, was able to get himself to the bottom turn and get another set of web weavers. So they're looking great right now, man. They have these web weavers and they have a level 13 advantage. They could definitely get some forks off of this.
Oh, for sure. And they just got to put as much pressure as they can. And because they had that 13 talent, it's really easy for All-Stars now to go in there, poke, back out, and do it again. Just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's one of those things that you have to be really careful when playing against a Zeratul is once they hit that 13. And we do see that Phoenix going in there to zone out the rest of T-Rekts and make sure they can put some damage onto that fort without too much trouble. Now that it's down, we might see T-Rekts try to put a little bit more pressure onto Brown Horsin, but it looks like they're going to get initiated on top of. It looks like Snazzy's right in the middle of the fight. He's in a very bad position. He doesn't want to get caught too out, and Divine Shield does go down onto him, and he gets out of there scot-free. But they did lose Vala during that engagement, but on the side of Brown Horsin, they did lose that Zeratul.
Yeah, 1-for-1 exchange. This is definitely going to favor the side of Brown Horsin because they have the web weavers pushing in. So a 1-for-1 exchange, but with those lanes being pushed in on the top and bottom respectively, that's going to allow them to go down to the bottom lane, get this for top lane. The tier 2 tower is going to drop another 650 experience going their way. And with all of the outer forts being down while at the same time, Brown Horses, all their forts are still up. They have a lot of map vision, and they've constricted the map vision of T-Rekts. So this map is theirs to take. They can go, maybe make an aggressive move to their bruisers, get those neutral camps down on the bottom lane, put some pressure in the bottom lane. They have a lot of room to wiggle around here in this match.
Oh, for sure, man. And it look like, honestly, what they need to be doing is taking this map and being more aggressive with it for T-Rekts.
Yeah.
Right now, they're letting Brown Horsin do what they want to do. They're not really putting too much pressure on the map. I mean, they're keeping them from turning in certain points, but they're responding as to controlling the game.
Right.
And it's not something you really don't want to be caught in that position in any competitive sport.
Especially when you have a Zeratul, because he really caters well to that sort of zone control, map control. It's one of his strengths, especially now that he's level 13, as we just saw there. With the Wormhole ability, there's so many nooks and crannies, as you mentioned earlier in the draft, where you can get 2, 3, 4-man Void Prisons, as well as the Devouring Maw. So if they really push their advantage here, they could just take a stranglehold over the map and just eventually get level 16, get Kael'Thas online, get themselves a boss. But it looks like here's an initiation. Maybe that T-Rex we're looking for. They do get the Cigar down. Devouring Maw is there, but it's, I mean, Uther's so very low. He's going to be able to use a Divine Shield to get himself up. The Phoenix is not going to do very much. Vala gets taken out, though, by the Witch Doctor. Muradin having to pop his avatar a little bit late into the fight. Uther still super low. He looks like he's finally going to go down here. No, he heals himself up. Well played by Jumping Dog. That Holy Light just coming up on cooldown. Jaina, can T-Rekts get himself out of there? He can. A 1-for-2 exchange that is going to favor T-Rekts, and that's really what they needed because it was right before Kael'Thas came in line at level 16. But even with that team fight going their way, they're still at a disadvantage.
It really is. I mean, at this point, I mean, you see that there's 55 coins or tokens, I'm sorry. I can't remember what the gems, whatever. They're turned in for those things, the little things that drop from the spiders. They actually turned in enough to get a web weavers. So
yeah,
they have 3 web weaver turn-ins in a row.
And even after this one, they still are going to have just short of yet another turn-in. Level 16 advantage, Kael'Thas is online, and this is going to be the go time here for Brown Horsin. T-Rekts has to pull something out here. Oh, looks like we're going to have a little bit of a pause, maybe some lag. We'll see what's going on here.
Major lag from someone else. Uther is lagging out, apparently. Okay, looks like we're good to go again.
Okay.
Oh, well, there we go.
Right. They just need a moment, just to catch your breath.
Oh, there we go again.
Oh, team, hello, team.
All right,
Final
team.
countdown.
The final countdown.
Oh Lord, oh Lord. So looking at the current state of the game, wow, those web weavers sure make a great line. They're all in a straight line right there, aren't they? This is definitely an advantageous position for Brown Horsin. They have a great late game composition. Malfurion, his healing scales very, very well into the gate lane. His early game is actually a little underwhelming sometimes, but once he gets those really important talents, he can just heal for days and keep people up what seems like forever. And obviously, as Zeratul, now that he has level 16, what did he go with anyways? Let's see what that Zeratul went with. He went with the Rending Cleave over the double bombs. So his cleave is going to have a little bit more damage. Again, that's kind of we generally see the double singularity spikes level 16 with Zeratul, though the secondary choice is Rending Cleave, and the really defensive one is Stone Skin.
You know what I really love about double bombs is that follow through procs both times.
Yep. And then you get rewind.
That's exactly what I do.
With this Rending Cleave pickup, though, I think if we are going to see a level 20, I would like to see Nexus Blades picked up here over Rewind, simply because he doesn't have the double bombs. He's not going to get quite nearly as much value out of Rewind as he would if he did have the W Singularity Spike. So I think a level 20, if this game does get to a level 20, we're going to see the Nexus Blades coming out of Zeratul.
Oh, definitely, man. I mean, you got to be really, really careful on how you're building Zeratul to combat the other team. And he's got to be really careful with his positioning, especially with Snazzy and the abilities he's chosen. And it's going to be really, really smart if he just pops in there, does a little bit of damage, pop out. And with that Rending Cleave, it makes it so that they got to be a little more careful when they try to take out a Zeratul. They're going to have all that damage on top of him pretty quickly.
So the mid lane Web Weaver's cleaned up. Good job. Bottom lane is still pushing in hard. Those tier 2 towers in the bottom lane are forfeit. But obviously all the attention is to this top lane. Again, the top lane has that boss, so it's always fought over for getting a lot of pressure on the top lane. The tier 2 towers are down. Level 16 is on the horizon for T-Rekts. They need to hit the level 16 before they initiate hard into a team fight. They're really close to it. Because level 16, they're going to get a lot of important talents. Jaina comes to mind. Obviously, Uther as well. And it's just biding their time, but this is when Brown Horsin needs to get a good initiation. A good two-man zombie wall, but not much follow-up from it. A lot of posturing going on here. Phoenix is up again. I swear that ability does not have a cooldown. And they are backing up. Now they're level 16. And right as they hit level 16, they're going for the initiation here. There's the Condemn onto 2, right in the backline of Malfurion. Gets stunned up with the Fletcher's Shield. But where's the follow-up? The follow-up simply not there. A slow response from T-Rekts into this team fight. And now it looks like they might get a little bit... Oh, no, a beautiful two-man Void Person. Unfortunately, the Devouring Maw overlapping it. Those guys aren't going to be in this team fight anytime soon. So a 2-for-0 exchange going the way of T-Rekts so far. There's the strafe. Can they continue this momentum? An Avatar Muradin is so very hard to take down. I don't know if they have what it takes, though. But finally, team fight going their way.
This might actually be a good time for them to go for that boss. I mean, absolutely, you see those pings going down, man. You see that they're already knowing, hey, we got to go for this boss. We got to go for it now. Because at any point during those fights, if Brown Horsin decides, hey, we're going to go for the boss, it's going to be really difficult for T-Rekts to do anything about it at that point. I mean, this boss in particular, aside from the golems on any other map, is really difficult to deal with because of that tornado, because of that the knock-up and everything.
Yeah.
It just has so much zoning compared to most of the other bosses.
The initiation there from T-Rekts was right at the second they hit 16. Johanna was gunning it for that backline. She got a great initiation, a two-man Condemn, followed up with the Blessed Shield onto the Malfurion. Vala got in there and was able to pick the Malfurion off. For a moment there, it looks like the team was a little bit disconnected, but the backline was able to catch up with, and they continue to push him down, getting the boss here, though. They finally have some Web Weavers turning them. They're going to get themselves a little bit more map control, and that's really what they needed. They caught up in experience, but they're still way behind as far as the lane momentum goes and in the structure field.
Definitely, and this is one thing that you really don't want to have it happen in any lane, is you have a boss and a Web Weaver pushing at the same time.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
But they had no follow-up. Like you were saying earlier, like when the initiation happened, they didn't have any follow-up for it, but they managed to pull out team fight out in their favor.
Yeah.
But they're pushing the other lanes when, honestly, they probably should have been just focusing on that top lane. I mean, with Brown Horsin having to focus on that boss, they could have pushed that in their advantage and have a lot more zone control compared to the other team.
Well, down here in mid lane, looks like this final Web Weaver's going to be cleaned up. Bottom lane, this is going to be the fort going down. Looks like a disconnect from the Nazebo. Hopefully he'll be back in just a moment. There's a pause, a little bit of lag coming out from Insomnia. Looks like he didn't get enough sleep last night. Hopefully this will be resolved in just a minute.
Yeah, we should see them pick up here any second now. I mean, quite a few connection issues. Whoa.
Hello.
Holy cow.
I'm good.
What just
We're
happened?
Fine. Team, we're fine.
All right. What happened there? Check with the team. Alrighty. Oh, I'm back at it. I don't know about you.
I'm good.
All right.
There we go. We're not sure. Everyone not just sure.
I'm loving this pause functionality, though.
It's so good. I'm so glad they put this into the game. The Blizzard was on point with that. I mean, it was pretty much already in the engine with it being a StarCraft 2 engine.
He had it in the custom replays.
Right.
So
He can't connect back in. Hopefully it's not an error or anything like that.
I hope he can get back in.
Looking at the current state of the game, the experience is now in the favor of T-Rekts, but I still feel like they're behind overall on the grand scheme of things, simply because the fort is still up in the mid lane at 18 minutes in. They have to deal with a level 16, soon to be level 20 Kel'Thas, which you think he was hard to kill before. Now he's going to have Bolt of the Storm. The Zeratul as well, once he gets that Nexus Blade, assuming he does go Nexus Blade, and I think that is going to be the choice. I think that would be the smart choice, is if all stars on Zeratul went with the Nexus Blade. He can just jump into that back line and blow up the Jaina or the Vala. If I was at Zeratul, more than likely I'd be keeping an eye on that Jaina, because it's such a huge power spike with it. I mean, it's 20% extra damage on your auto attack, coupled with the fact that his auto attack scales so well into the late game anyways. And if they're just able to land just an okay Void Prison, it doesn't even have to be a really good one, an okay Void Prison or an okay Devouring Maw that gives that Zeratul a little wiggle room to get in the backline and kill a Jaina or kill a Vala. I still feel like they have a good grasp on this game, and I still feel like they're the ones with the momentum.
Oh, definitely. Like you have to look at it like, if you see their compositions, you see their zone control. It's just that at this point, I think Brown Horsin might be kind of like stressed out about the sudden switch and how aggressive that T-Rekts is playing, because T-Rekts and Insomnia in particular, I believe that's the Joanna, has been doing a really, really great job in zoning out the other team. Like, they don't want to push too far in because they know that Condemn is going to do a lot of work. And it looks like we're ready to go back into the game too. So,
excellent. The push continues in the bottom lane. The push, there it goes. Okay, push continues in the bottom lane. That is quite a scary push to you, holy cow. So
it really is.
For the mid lane, I mean, the lateral lanes, they are now pushed in, and they're looking to get maybe some tier 2 towers out of this. And one thing to really get that pendulum momentum back in their favor is to get level 20 before Brown Horsing it. That, I think, if they're able to get level 20 a good amount of time before Brown Horsing it, they could really turn this game around there. There's an initiation with the Blessed Shield onto Kel'Thas. They need to get him down. They do get the Kel'Thas down. Unfortunately, Malfurion heals not enough to keep him up. Murden is in the front lines with the Avatar tanking it up. The Strafe being used, but right now this is, again, a great advantageous position coming in from T-Rekts, but Jaina has to be careful. She's overextended a little bit here. She's got to be careful. There's a Void Prison. Where's the turnaround? You can't really turn around onto a Johanna, maybe and set up into another Devouring Maw. So much displacement here. They need to get a kill, though. There's no follow-up onto these displacement abilities here. Everyone is still alive on the side of T-Rekts, despite the fact that they're all taken out of the fight for the better part of 15 seconds.
T-Rekts was doing an amazing job there, zoning the opponent out. Like, Meridian was trying to get in the back line. Insomnia does get taken out pretty quick by the Zeratul. That's what you got to look out for with Zeratul, man. He's sneaky guy. But what we were seeing there is, like, Meridian was trying to knock Vala out of that strafe, but we had a shrink ray go down on top of Meridian, which prevented him from being able to reach Vala in time.
They were able to successfully defend bottom keep, so all keeps are still alive on both sides of the field, and yet another wave of web weavers coming in here for T-Rekts. So this is going to be their level 20, almost guaranteed. If they get that fort in the mid lane, the tower in the mid lane, maybe one or two tier 2 towers, they're going to have level 20. Though the window of opportunity where they have the storm talents and their enemy Brown forcing it does not is going to be a rather small one.
They do have to be really careful, though.
They have to be very, very careful. They could still lose if they get initiated on, again, like how they were underneath that keep, and there's a little bit more follow-up or follow-through from Brown Horse in it, that team fight could be one-sided.
Well, definitely. In particular right now, because Nazeebo is just coming up, if they get a good initiation right now, before Nazeebo can come back into the fight, they might be able to take it off of T-Rekts pretty quickly. But it looks like Kel'Thas is actually being caught out of position. He had taken out pretty quick.
Does he have Bolt? Oh, he doesn't. He needed level 20. He didn't get it. Couldn't get that Bolt of the Storm. Couldn't get it soon enough. So, again, Kel'Thas is a hero. If you get caught out of position, you're going to get punished for it. That's exactly what happened. I'm not entirely sure what he was doing there anyways. I mean, if you want to push out lanes, you want a hero who maybe can get away a little cleaner like a Murden or a Zeratul. Though Kel'Thas got a little cocky, and he's going to be down here for the next 40 seconds.
Definitely, and this is actually the best time for them to push their advantage. Take that bottom keep. I mean, if they have catapults coming down the lane, they have the only thing there is a fort or keep and a tower. I mean, they have no defenses there. They can take it down in a couple seconds, not worry too much because they have a 5 mana on 4. Push that advantage, man. And I mean, it's little victories like that that can make you win games.
Heroes of the Storm truly is a game of inches. Especially once you get into a late game situation where one mistake can just completely throw the game into one favor. Oh man, Malfurion cut out here. He's able to survive the big burst. The Witch Doctor got a zombie wall and follow with a great blizzard, but with the storm shield as well as his heals, was able to keep himself up. And oh man, All Stars. He's looking for a Void Prison. There's a beautiful 2-man Void Prison.
Could see an initiation here. It looks like they're probably going to be going for that Vala real quick, but he does blink out. Looks like Vala is going to be able to use Strafe, do quite a bit of damage. The guard does go down really quickly. Divine Shield going on top of Vala, preventing him from taking any more damage. Does get taken out by Muradin and Zeratul. They're on the run. They need to get out of there. They're in a very poor position, and it looks like an Insomnia is going to be taken down as well. Joanna going in there, trying to disrupt as much as he can, save his teammates. Just get out of there. Get out of there, KK, and Jumping Duck. It's not safe here.
Oh man, and this is going to be a 3-for-1 exchange. Oh man, I forgot that Johanna is actually a god and unkillable. They're trying to get the kill though. Jaina caught out of position, and that kill lost us so much damage. So a 2-for-1 exchange, obviously favoring Brown Horsin it. And the boss is back up here. Do they have enough for a turn-in? They do not. They don't have many seeds at all, actually. Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, they don't have many seeds at all. They only have 12 of them. So there's not much that they can really do with this small power play they have. Going for the boss right now, I don't think would be a smart decision. Yes, they're have a 1-man advantage, but even in the tight corridors there, it can really go over for you if you get caught out of position. So I think they're just going to fall back here and play business as usual.
And actually, you know what? We didn't see Muradin pick up the Reverberation on level 1. It looks like he actually went Perfect Storm, which I did not realize until just now.
Yeah.
Bad job, caster, man. Go home.
And that means his Stormbolt is going to scale pretty well into the late game, depending on how well he farmed it up. It's not like an Asmodon where, you farm up ridiculous amounts of damage as the game goes on, but it's supplemental damage, and it can really turn a team fight. It just helps your initiation that much more.
This is what we were talking about earlier. You get those web weavers, you go for that boss, and they're kind of waiting around a second there to see what happens with the T-Rekts. And it looks like they know exactly what to do. They're going to rotate up to that boss and make sure that they can't get it.
So with this lane pushing in, they are keeping an eye on the keep. Actually, didn't mean to do that. They have an eye on the top keep. And I mean, a 23-minute web weavers are very strong, and they're going to be pushing so hard. Oh man, Jaina gets caught out of position, but a good ball to the storm to get himself away to safety. And Jaina is a pivotal hero right now in the late game. They need that burst. If they don't have that burst with the Jaina, their initiation is moot. They aren't going to be able to kill anyone. Sure, they might be able to catch, a big 2-man stun with a Blessed Shield or a zombie wall, but if that Jaina's not there, she really is the linchpin of team fight right now in this late game situation.
The main issue is that Jaina is they're all at burst, and they need burst to be able to take out someone with a Malfurion on the other team. Malfurion's one of those consistent healers, and someone like Vala does AoE damage, but Malfurion does AoE heals.
Yep, exactly. And yeah, Vala actually went with this kind of interesting hybrid build, as we mentioned before. The multi-shot town at level 1. She got Frost Shot at level 13, but Cyrinos, Vampiric Embrace, and Blood for Blood. And at level 20, going with the Nexus Frenzy over the Bolt of Storm, which again caters to more of an auto-attack build. But the reason why we don't see many auto-attack builds on heroes, obviously specifically talking about Vala, is strictly because of the talent Imposing Presence, which we actually don't see picked up. I thought that was Imposing Presence actually so far.
It's on Joanna.
It is on Johanna. Okay, so Johanna picked it up. She doesn't have to worry about too much right clicks. I think maybe that has to do with the Zagara more than anything else, though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you do have to really worry about like someone like Muradin picking up like reverberation, like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But because he saw that happen, he's like, well, maybe I can go more auto tech based. Strafe is still really good. Rate of Vengeance would be really good here too. But you have to worry about the Zeratul coming in and just assassinating someone.
A very tense moment right now. I have to say that T-Rekts did a pretty good job at defending the web weavers. They did lose that top keep, but I think that was inevitable with how low it was. It was exposed completely. But only losing one keep against those late game weavers and maybe a couple tier 2 towers. I think they're going to be okay with that, D.
Definitely. And I mean, like, if you think about it, a boss at this point in top lane would be game ending if Brown Horsin was able to get that.
It absolutely would, because he has an avenue straight to the core. But wow, T-Rekts able to sneak in yet another turn of Web Weavers. Top lane is pushed in their favor, though bottom lane and mid lane aren't. And this little sweep into the bottom lane, they get the... No, they aren't going to get the keep. They almost got the keep. But nonetheless, now they're going to get pushed back by these Web Weavers, and they have to respond. They can't sit here too long. And Johanna's looking for an initiation. She was keeping an eye out for it, not able to get it, though.
Get out of there, Kale. Get out. It's not safe.
Is it a trap? There's a Blessed Shield onto 2, as well as the Mutalisk. And do they have the follow-up for this? There's a Void Prison onto 2. Johanna is now the target, but again, she's such a hard-taking takedown. Void Prison onto Jaina. Jaina's in a terrible position. All they have to do is wait out the Smaug, and they can kill Jaina. A good Balls of the Storm is going to keep her alive, though. We're looking for the follow-up. There's the Tranquility. Again, it's all about that burst damage, but the burst damage quite hasn't lined up for them in this team fight yet. Now Murden on their retreat. Scar is low. There's a 3-man Blizzard, but again, the follow-up simply isn't there. They need to focus a little bit. Malfurion caught up position. He finally goes down. One takedown going the way of T-Rekts. Can they get more after this Divine Shield used? Looks like not very effectively, though. Vala is going in it, and she picks off the Zeratul. A 2-0 exchange favoring T-Rekts, and this might be what turns the tide in their favor. They have the Web Weavers pushing. They have a 5 to 3-man power play. This bottom keep is dead to rights, and they might be going core here, D.
Definitely, man. I mean, you got to think they had a perfect opportunity there with that Void Prison to come in and initiate and take out someone, but that Devouring Maw made it so that it was going to be really difficult for them to take down on Jaina, who was most of their damage. Yeah. Their Gargantuan was targeting Zagara and beating the crap out of her. There wasn't really much she could do. She had to back out of there. It looks like Crit's going to be taken down here pretty quickly, and that's going to be. That looks like it's going to be game.
That's going to be game. I don't know. I mean, 2 people going down here. They got a little greedy. Instead of focusing the core, they try getting hero kills. This isn't quick match, ladies and gentlemen. I know you want to get your master skins, but come on, let's get the victory. And it looks like now they are able to zone out the Zagara. Kex has to be careful, though. I mean, they only have 3 people alive. The Jaina goes down. It's this. Yeah, they're going to get the core here. Jaina's able to live. It's down to 36%. No, Jaina goes down. I don't know, dude. So many things are happening now.
So many things.
It is going to be the game. Looking like these guys weren't really focusing on the core for a period of time. There was getting a little concerned, but they pulled it out. They are going to get this victory and move on.